my decision not to go to grad school, I got into this program, UPENN MCIT. I think now it's UPENN MASCS. I want to share why I made that decision, some of the regrets I have, and also some of the good things. So let's just get into it. The reason I applied to UPENN MCIT is because I was a coding bootcamp graduate. So I was a finance major in undergrad. I was an investment banking analyst out of school. Quit that job after I got my bonus and went all in on coding. I spent a couple months in coffee shops, just learning how to code as best as I could, and then I went to a coding boot camp. That led me to getting my first startup job, which I honestly didn't actually do that well for that first startup job. I didn't do. That's a story for another time. But I worked at that startup job for about 10 months, got laid off, then got a job at CNN, the large media organization, which is where I worked for 5.5 years straight, left and came back, and I'm now at CNN again. Around year 3 or 4 at CNN, I spent 2 years studying for the GRE and taking the GRE because I just wanted that elite level GRE score. And I eventually didn't get to super elite, but I got a 329 on the GRE, which is a good enough score to get into pretty much anywhere. So after doing that, I crafted my essay, applied, got in. And I decided not to go at that time. I can't even remember the exact year. I think it might have been 2021, maybe 2022. I decided not to go. It was 2021, actually, or 2, I'm not sure. But I decided not to go because I remember thinking that I could go part-time while doing work, but I've spent 2 years studying for the GRE, and I've seen my work output not be as high as it could because I'm using so much brain power to study for the GRE that I'm not able to solve the most challenging tasks possible at work. I'm using so much of my brain power to study for the GRE that my work is getting I'm not able to go as deep into work as I'd like to. So I felt like if I went to school while working, I felt like those two would clash, and I would be in this perpetual cycle where I was getting good achieves, right, like ratings at work, where people would say your work is satisfactory, you're doing great. My manager said you're doing great, but I wasn't getting that elite level. People telling me that I wasn't getting the exceeds rating that I was looking for. I wasn't getting the top notch ratings at work that I was looking for, that I was able to get this past cycle. I wasn't getting those because my brain power is always split. I was proud of getting into UPENN MCIT, but at the same time, I could feel that work was suffering a little bit. And so I felt this longing to go to have a little bit more flexibility, to go deeper into work and to have deeper into life. That was what was going through my mind. It was like kind of these two extremes. I was like, either go deeper into work or go deeper into life. But I don't want to keep doing this thing where I've got two heavy intellectual things pulling on my brain at the same time. So I made the decision then not to go to UPENN MCIT. I worked for a little bit longer, and then I actually quit and went full sabbatical trying to make money on the internet. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you probably remember those. There's a time where I was making a bunch of shorts and creating content for other content creators, and that was cool. And then I eventually wanted to come back and be a dev because I felt like to be honest with you guys, felt like I could make more money as a dev. But anyhow, sharing some of my thought process with why I decided not to go. Essentially, I decided not to go because I wanted to go either deeper into work or deeper into life, and I felt like having UPENN MCIT in the wings was gonna be a little bit too much to juggle. Now, in hindsight, there are some things I regret and some things I don't regret. The things I don't regret is I did get more work experience, and I did get some pretty cool life experience. Spending time trying to figure out how to make money on the internet taught me a different skill set. I started doing stuff like sales, learning about sales and marketing, and I remember that feeling of getting my first few clients, video editing clients, all on my own, and making some money all on my own was a really good experience, really good feeling. It really made me a lot more product oriented. I don't regret, working a little bit longer and then trying to make money online while traveling the world for a bit. I also had a little bit of a period there where I was just like not even working and just doing a ton of music, just making a ton of music. And, you know, I never got to the point where I was able to like make a ton of money from music, but I got to a point where I was getting a couple paid gigs. Like I got a few paid gigs to play at farmers markets. And that was so cool. I remember getting $50 to just go play at a farmer's market, you know, once every 2 to 4 weeks. And it was just so cool getting that like $50 paycheck to go and sit there. And again, it's like nothing compared to my software engineering salary, but just to go and sit there and play my guitar and then get like, I don't know, anywhere from like $40 to $80 of tips, and just be like playing my guitar and talking to people, making friends, I learned the piano at that time. I mean, I don't like saying I learned an instrument because it's so deep that I don't think you ever fully learn it. But it's like saying I learned computer science. Like it's so deep that you can just probably keep going and going. But I got to the point where I could play a bunch of songs on the piano and I could riff and improvise and stuff. And so I remember just sitting there and playing like a bunch of guitar and piano and singing. I never quite got to the point where I was a super good singer, but I got to the point where I was comfortable singing in front of people a little bit. And so I remember singing and just playing my instrument at that farmer's market and doing like a bunch of street performing and going to songwriting contests and stuff. And that was like such a good experience. Like it filled my soul to do stuff like that. And I don't think I would have done that if I went to MCIT. I don't actually think I would have done that because I would have been either working and doing MCIT, or I would have been all in on MCIT, and I wouldn't have had the brain space. Like I had so much brain space when I had nothing to do for over a year, because I was like out of corporate for over a year. So much brain space that I was able to follow my creative ambitions, where I was able to, you know, make YouTube videos. I was able to, try to make some money online. I was able to make music. And I think it was really important for me to be able to follow some of those things. So that, in that sense, I don't have regrets. Now, in the sense of regrets, let's talk about some of the regrets. Like if I actually went to UPenn MCIT, and I still might go to grad school at some point, but if I actually went to that program, I think my fundamentals would be really, really strong. Like I mean, the fundamentals of software engineering now, especially now in the age of AI, are so useful. And if I went there, I would have much stronger fundamentals. And also I would have had a couple more opportunities. Like when I was applying to jobs, one of the companies I applied to actually told me that I didn't have enough experience for the role I was looking at, but if I had a CS degree, then I would have qualified. I'm not going to name the exact company, but that was actually a pretty cool role that I didn't have the opportunity to get because I didn't have a CS degree. So I remember feeling the pang of, damn, it would have been nice to have that CS, that MCIT on my resume. So I remember that. And then, yeah, fundamentals at work. A lot of times I wish I had just that like deeper fundamentals. And I've gotten some of that by taking Harvard CS50, doing some lead code, taking Neat Code system design course, taking a bunch of like Udemy courses. I've gotten some of those fundamentals. I remember like programming in C, trying to make some stuff in C for a little bit. Gotten a substantial amount of computer science fundamentals from just being a software engineer for over 7 years. But I just think that formal training would have been useful. So anyhow, those are my thoughts, my regrets, my pros, my cons on not going to MCIT. So maybe I'll go in the future, who knows? And that's all I have for y'all today. Hope you liked the video, and I'll talk to y'all in the next one.